Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm posting 5 looks using one palette, the BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette. If you're interested to see on how I got all of these looks, please keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, getting started with look number 1. I am doing a voiceover for the first time, so there you go. So I started with Fondue in my lid from the Smitten in Switzerland palette, and I'm using a pretty big fluffy brush to blend that in. And then I took a smaller, more dense brush in order to blend it in again, just so that you can see the color a little bit more, because I thought it was a little bit too faint as I used a big brush. So now, with the exact same brush, I'm going to go in to Slope, which is like a olivey green, kind of khaki green color, and I just wanted to see how this actually looked on the lid. So I'm going to just blend this in my lower crease, back and forth. I wish we could go this quickly, right? In real life. But anyway, blending it back and forth. I'm bringing it all the way into my inner corner and then again to my outer corner and just evening out both eyes. Then I'm taking this Real Techniques Instapop brush. It's the smaller of the two in the set if you get it. It's a fabulous set. And I'm now going to go in the color Chocolate. Chocolate in the palette, when you look at it, looks like a warm brown, but it's 100% a cool brown. It's really interesting. Like, look at all the gray in it. But I really like the color. It blends in very easily, and it's just a great, cool brown. I don't have many of these colors in my collection. So I just work a little bit at a time and then blending for both eyes. And this is in the outer crease and then the outer corner of my eye. Just checking it out and balancing it. And then with my finger, I'm going to use the color Alps, which is this beautiful metallic shade. It has a bit of a gray base, and it looks very similar to a color in the Persona Identity palette. I actually love it. So I just apply this with my finger, going over the entire lid, and then balancing that on both sides. I go from the inner corner right to about the the first 2/3 of my eye is what I would probably say. So now I'm going to use a color liner in my inner corner. No, I don't mean that. Sorry, I forgot. Now I'm just going to basically do the same stuff at the bottom. So I started with Fondue, and then I'll use a little bit of Slope, and then I will put a little bit of Alps in the inner corner. But basically just working backwards. Sorry for the dinging. Okay. So just blending that back and forth. And then what I'm going to do before I do my inner rim is I'm going to use a little bit of Snow Cap, which is the lightest shade in the palette. It's quite powdery, but it does brighten underneath the brow bone really well. I don't always do this, but I did like the effect that this had on this look. To finish this look, I'm going to use this pencil from Rimmel. It's basically like a brightening shade. I'm just going to put that in my lower rim. I can't use too much because it starts looking nuts on me, but I just wanted to get rid of some of the redness in the bottom. And then you will see that I'm going to now work on mascara. I'm going to use the Milani Highly Rated Mascara. It is wonderful. I'm going to use that for all the looks. And then the Thrive Cosmetics for my bottom lash. And that is it. I have a picture of my final look because I forgot to film it, but here's what the final look looks like. All right, for this second look, you're going to see I'm talking, but I decided to do a voiceover as well. I'm at my mother's house, and I actually have the camera propped on a window, so this is natural light. I just have sunscreen and a little bit of Rimmel powder on, and I tried working on my brows, but I'm having issues with them. But anyway, so I'm starting this one off. I'm focusing this look on Brisk, and then some of Glacier Express, and probably a little bit of Montreux. I think that's how you pronounce that name, and this is me trying to struggle to say that. Anyway, so starting with Montreux on a pretty fluffy brush. I always use this one from Morphe E22, I believe. And I'm just going to take that Montreux all in the lid, going back and forth in windshield wiping motions. And there is a little bit of powder in this palette. You'll see occasionally I'm blowing that off, which I don't think it's very sanitary, but I do it. It's my palette, so I guess I can. So anyway, just working that back and forth in the lid, just for a little bit of a transition shade. Then I'm going to deepen that a little bit with Fondue, because I keep finding that Montreux is pretty close to my actual skin tone, or it's a little bit too light for me, so I've been mixing the two of them. If you work it with a denser brush, it works a little bit better. So now I'm going to the star of the show, the Brisk color, and I'm going to use this flat shader brush. I'll eventually switch to my finger, but I'm going to load up this flat brush and start applying that to the outer third of the eye. And you can see the color picks up, although I find it to be a bit patchy using the brush, and so you'll see that I kind of switch to my finger. But there is a little bit of color difference. When I use the brush, it almost looks a little bit more gray, and then when I use my finger, you'll see more of the blue showing up. Sorry for the lighting differences. Obviously, I'm dealing with natural light, so. And then I'm going back into Montreux. I'm pronouncing that horribly. I'm sorry for everyone who speaks French. But I'm just cleaning up the transition a little bit, trying to blend that blue a little bit more. And then now I'm going to take Glacier Express, this beautiful shimmer that is gray, really like a beautiful gunmetal gray almost. I'm putting that in the inner third, and I'm again using a flat brush just to put that in. But once I've added that, you see that the look is much more cool toned. Well, the whole thing is cool toned, but even more, it looks much more gray. And now I'm going to pat that on with my finger again. So I have found that if you pat on the shimmers from this palette, it works best. So now I'm going to work on that line that's right in between. So I'm just going to blend it out with another brush. This is from Profusion. It came in one of the eyeshadow palettes, so I don't actually have a number for it, but they have pretty good brushes. And I'm going into Brisk and just blending out where that line is, deepening up the blue a little bit, and then just going back and forth. And so that's what that looks like before I have any mascara and stuff like that. I'm paying attention to all my kids behind me. Anyway, so now I'm going into the chocolate color, this really cool toned brown. And I'm using that as a little bit of liner. I don't think I brought liner to my mom's that day. So I'm just using it as liner, and then in the outer corner, just to deepen that up a little bit, as I don't have liner. And then going back to that Profusion brush and just blending in that cool toned brown with the blue. And when in doubt, keep blending. Now, what always happens when you're using, I find when I'm using blue, is that I have to pat into them one more time. When I'm all done with all the blending, I do feel like blue is a really tough color to maintain, especially if you do a lot of blending. So I'm just adding it. So here's what the look looks like now that I've deepened it. And, oh, I did bring liner. Great. So I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown liner with this Beauty Blender brush that has this cool shape. I absolutely love this brush. And now here it is with the eyes lined. And I'm using the same mascara combo, the Highly Rated from Milani and the Thrive Cosmetics for my lower lash. And magic of editing, I'm putting that all in. And now for the lower lash. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with, well, let's see, I should be starting with Montreux or maybe Fondue. But I eventually will go into the blue and then the silver. Or maybe I've just surprised everyone and used chocolate under there. Not sure. Man, that sucks. All right, so, oh, there it is. So chocolate went in the outer corner. So this is the finished look. Pretty cute, right? Bye. All right, for look number 3, we are going to make a pink look using the Smitten in Switzerland palette. I'm doing a voiceover. I haven't done one of these before, so bear with me. So the first color I'm going in, and I apologize if I pronounce these incorrectly, but it looks like Lucerne, and I'm using a fluffy brush to put that in my crease. I had already started this before I remembered to film, so you'll see a little pink in there anyway. But I go back and forth in windshield wiper motions, just putting that in my transition. I think it's a really pretty shade if you just want one quick shade. Then, with a little bit of a denser and kind of smudger brush, I'm going into Yodel, which is a deeper pink, and I'm putting that in the outer V of my eye. You'll notice how easy this is to blend, and it helps deepen that crease pretty well. And I go in twice. I think it's better to solely apply eyeshadow than to like put a big chunk of it. So I'm going to put that on both eyes. And again, I'm just putting that in the outer corner in kind of a V shape, sideways V, and blending that into the crease. And just checking, make sure it's deep enough on both sides. And then I'm taking that first brush again and just blending the two colors a little bit together. This just helps make sure there's no harsh edges. All right, now with my finger, I'm taking Zurich, which is this beautiful pink shimmer with a little bit of blue reflect actually. And I'm just gonna pat that on my lid. When I swatch it out, it actually has kind of like a tan base to it, and then all sorts of shimmer. I see blue and green. So just patting that all over the lid space. This is like a typical eye shape that I do. Now with a little bit of a pointed shader brush, I'm going to work on the lower lash line. So again, I'm going into that Lucerne. Man, I really need to learn how to pronounce that. But I'm putting that all over. And then I'll dip into a little bit of Yodel in a second just for that outer V of the eye. So basically mimicking the very same thing I did on the top. And this just creates a cohesive look. I have no idea what I mouthed to you there. And then the last thing, well, almost last, I'm going to use Zurich in my inner corner on both eyes. And then, as you'll see in a minute, I thought that was a little deep for the inner corner, so I wanted to brighten it up with a little bit of Alps, which is this beautiful kind of, it's definitely a champagne color, but it has a little bit of a gray base. And again, it's quite shimmery, but doesn't have individual pieces of sparkle. Then with a just big fluffy brush, I'm going to go into Snow Cap, which is this nice matte cream, just to do my, under my eyebrow. I don't do this all the time, but I do think it makes a nice difference. Now I'm going to go into eyeliner. I've been loving this Bobbi Brown eyeliner with this really cool brush from, I just forgot the name of it and I'm looking at it, from Beauty Blender. I think it makes a really easy wing. I will say though, for the eyeliner, I have to go over it twice in order to make it black, but the liner, the brush makes the lining super, super easy. And then I heard that you could tight line with this, so I tried that today, which kind of freaked me out, but I didn't want to show you because I'm literally like pulling my eyelid up. So I just did that off camera. Now I'm going to put on some mascara. This is the Milani Highly Rated Mascara. I love this thing, and I'm going to show you after I do one eye the difference. Now I have long lashes naturally, and they're naturally curved up. I'm sorry, it's obnoxious, but there is still a significant difference when I put mascara on, so look at the difference. Crazy. And then I work on the other eye. I do this twisting motion, making sure I wiggle it at the base. And you'll notice I go through my lashes many, many times. It's not just a one brush through. I go again and again and again. Probably spend too much time. And now, going to go into second coats, magic of editing. Both coats are on. And then on the bottom lash, I love the Thrive Cosmetics lash extensions for the bottom lashes. It works just so well. And there's never any smudging with this. All right, I put on some blush. I put on some lipstick. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. Little hair fluffing. My hair is still wet, and here is my finished look for Pinky Promise. Have a good day. So starting look number 4, I absolutely love this look. So in this look, you're going to see my daughter coming in and out. Sorry about that, but I'm going to use Mountain, Mount Reggie, and then a little bit of Slope in this one for this really green look. And there's Eliana, she's 4, right behind me. Starting off with that Slope color, this olivey green, and you can see how it really, I love the color. It's a great gray green. Excuse me. There she is, just watching. So look, I learned to zoom in. How exciting. So this is a great shade. It would be a great one shadow look, even though it's matte in nature, but I just love the color. So then I'm going to switch to my Real Techniques Instapop brush. I absolutely love this. And I'm going into that color Mountain, which is a beautiful green, and I'm going to do a halo look. So I will do the outer corner, then the crease, and then the inner corner. Basically, I'm just leaving the center of my lid empty so that when I put the shimmer Mount Reggie in, it really pops. So you'll see I'll blend that back and forth. The best thing to do with a halo eye is to make sure you connect what's happening on the outside corner and the inside corner. So you'll see I pay quite a bit of attention to that transition. And then I'm going back into slope with the larger blending brush just to blend out some of that green. And you're going to see I have a reaction because I forgot how deep that color is. So then I need to blend on both eyes. So here we go. Blend, blend, blend. As Jaclyn Hill says, blend until your fingers fall off. Now I'm going to take a little bit of, I don't know if I touched Montreux or Fondue, but just to blend out that darkness a little bit from slope, because I didn't want the look to be so dark. I am just wearing a t-shirt and going to the park, so we don't need to be that excessive. And now I'm using another Real Techniques brush. This is the Instapop one. It's just the bigger of the two, and I'm going into Snow Cap just to do under my brows for a little bit of highlighting. And now with my finger, I love this part. This is Mount Reggie, and I'm just going to pat that with my ring finger right in that empty space that we left. It is such a pretty green, reflective, has beautiful gold glitter in it. I really, really love this color. And I'm just going to then blend like I have before. So I actually didn't add more pigment to this. I'm just blending that upper part of my crease, just making sure that a little bit of that deeper green connects to the bright metallic. And then I'm going to use this green ColourPop eyeliner, which I can't find the name, and I don't even know if they have it anymore. It's like jade or something. But I'm going to use that in my inner corner. You can see the color there. I just wanted to bring out some of the green. And then I go into my Bobbi Brown eyeliner, which basically I use in almost probably every look so far. Just lining the eye. I love this brush. Definitely recommend. And then the same mascara combo. So this time I'm going to put 2 coats of the Milani one on my top lashes, and then I'm going to work on my lower lash line. Sometimes I'll do my upper lashes first, just so that any of the glitter that I've put on top doesn't fall down. So I'm going back into Mountain to work on my lower lash line. So I'll put that all along the lower lash line, right across the whole thing on both eyes. And then I'm going to dip into Mount Reggie, just again mimicking what's happening on the top and at the bottom of my eye. So using a brush this time, have to be a little careful with metallics in the bottom, just because some of those flecks can get into your eyeball, and that just hurts, so be careful. And now little Thrive Cosmetics at the bottom. Love this, and here's this finished look. Such a fan of it. Okay, my 5th look. I am not wearing the right shirt for this look. I end up creating a red, white, and blue look. But what are you going to do? Anyway, so here again, I'm talking and I'm forgetting that I'm going to do a voiceover, but I've gotten used to talking while doing my makeup. So I'm starting with a little bit of eye primer from Milani. I always love this eye primer. And by the way, I just got these earrings from Target. They come in a set of 3 different sizes of these. What are these? Are these octagons? I don't know. I think so. So today I'm basically, I picked this palette originally because I loved these 2 shades, Yodel and Brisk. I just love them. And I'm just kind of pointing to the other colors that I've used so far, but I really love Yodel and Brisk. I've had trouble with this Matterhorn color. It is pretty much a goldenrod leaning orange matte, and it doesn't really work on my skin very well. It kind of looks, I don't know, weird on me. But anyway, I've tried to use that color. I used the rest of them, but that one gave me trouble. So back to this look. I'm going to go in first with the color Yodel, which is this beautiful berry toned reddish pink. It's so pretty, and it's a beautiful matte, blends out really easily. I used it in one of the previous looks. So I'm just going to blend that back and forth in the lid. This is such a wearable berry, so if you're afraid of color, I think this is a color that most people can pull off. And they always say with brown eyes that we apparently can pull off everything. I sometimes think they tell us that so we're not sad that we don't have blue or green eyes or hazel, but we can wear a lot of colors. That's a good part. So I'm just blending that back and forth. It's such a good color. And I always notice that I'm always tapping off the extra, because if not, that will all fall on your face, which is not a look I think anyone's going for. You're going to see the light flickering from my mirror because it was going haywire today. So just blending that back and forth right now. Okay, so now I'm going to take the color Lucerne, I think, and I'm just going to blend out some of that berry tone. So now for the star of the show. We are going to take a little bit of Brisk on my finger, and I'm going to put that in my inner corner, well, more like the middle of my eye. So the middle of my eye socket. Is this my eye socket? My eyeball. That's what I think I'm trying to say. And I'm blending it a little bit over the berry to create a little bit of a purple effect, but basically putting it all over the middle part of my eye. I'm going to leave that inner corner light for now. Okay, so now to work on this inner corner. I'm going to mix Snowcap with the color Alps. I start it and it ends up being a little bit too light, so then I go more into Alps, but basically, look at my face, I'm like, whoa, that's bright. And this is when I realize I've made a red, white, and blue color. But I'm just blending it a little bit with my finger and then dipping back into Alps, just to blend that color in a little bit more seamlessly. And I'm bringing that right around the inner corner of my eye. Okay, so now it's time to work on that lower lash line. So we're going to go back into Yodel with a pretty precise pointed blender. And I'll take something a little bit bigger in a minute to blend this out. But I'm putting that all along my lower lash line on both. And then I'm going to blend that out with a little bit bigger of a brush because it was a little too precise for me. And then I did something super daring. I took Brisk on my finger and I tried to use that directly under my eye. It ended up being much less precise than I would hope, so I definitely should do that with a brush. But I don't learn. I keep it on both sides, and that's the way I'm living my life today. So I end up cleaning some of this up with a little bit of concealer, but that is what this look looks like so far before I add eyeliner. Alright, so here is the finished look. I put on the Bobbi Brown eyeliner with my Beauty Blender brush, and then I used 2 coats of highly rated mascara from Milani and the Thrive Cosmetics mascara on the bottom lash. Then I used 2 different bronzers because I'm trying to determine which one I like. I have Marc Jacobs on this side and the Charlotte Tilbury on this side. I'm interested to see if I can see a difference, but if you like one better than the other, let me know. On my lips, I have my Believe lip liner in Almost Rose. This is from Dollar General. I have the Milani Keep It Full lip gloss in Rosewood. And then, what else do I have? Oh, I have Dolce Vita from NARS on my lips. So, nope, on my cheeks. Sorry. It's been a day. Alright, so that's the finished look. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day. Bye.